Why did the Nazis ban jazz? They were well aware that it was music derived from black culture, and that's why they considered it degenerate. Jazz musicians were black. Nazis liked their Western culture, Wagner's operas, Beethoven's symphonies, etc., which were very formalized and structured. Jazz is the opposite of that. There are German propaganda advertisements from back in the day that depict jazz musicians as monkeys, etc. Jazz being a black music and being popular flew in the face of the master race ideas. To be honest, early jazz bands in the US were often asked to not use sheet music on stage for similar reasons. It went against the comfortable assumptions of white audiences with black musicians being able to read and all. Nazis hated black people. Jazz was targeted with lots of serious accusations even in the US. It was around for quite a while before it became mainstream for white people. Nazis were opposed to it for the same reason people slander rap music. It's a creation of black people and was deemed below whites to listen to. Have you listened to some of those old jazz lyrics? If you know the slang, they can get steamy. But yeah, mostly racism. I cannot tell you if this is the actual reason or not, but I suppose African American music wasn't something that suited their propaganda of Germanic Aryan supremacy. You don't need to be a genius or a history buff to know A, jazz black B, Nez extreme racism from there. The logic is kinda straightforward. Now I want to start off by saying I'm not a historian, and I don't know if this answer is 100 encompassing to the why, but I do know that the individual premises that lead to the conclusion are true, though can't say for sure the conclusion itself is X200B. Premise 1. The Nazis were openly racist against black people. Premise 2. Jazz was generally considered black music. Conclusion. They likely hated it because racism. When your party platform is to maintain purity by banning degenerate things, you will very quickly run out of things to ban. So, you then need to declare more things as degenerate. Jazz came from USA. By standards of pre-WW2 Europe, USA at the time was woke and degenerate, so for an ultra-conservative party, something coming from USA was already halfway enough to justify a ban. The fact that there were plenty of black jazz musicians made it to the top of bannable list. The same issue you have with rap, they were out of touch with the true meaning behind the art because it didn't look and sound like them, so they were frightened by it. It turns out that the Nazis were racist. There is a big movement in fascism to reject the new and embrace the old. Modern art was also largely banned and the classics were encouraged to be taught and venerated. There's an excellent video here, u2.bev5dqm/ttc/pqsiv ajsxkg9u1 about the fascist tendency to reject modern art. It was considered Negro music. I actually just was watching Man in the High Castle and they literally had a conversation about this. Besides jazz being associated with black culture, and that being enough of a problem, jazz musicians were associated with marijuana, which might have drawn degeneracy accusations. Anything that's about creativity, improvisation, and breaking rules is generally going to stick in the craw of authoritarians, and there were many art forms that Nazis labeled degenerate. This may come as a surprise, but the Nazis were fairly racist towards black people and their culture. Black people. Having its roots in black culture was a negative, yet there were plenty of white jazz musicians. However, free expression is a fundamental element of jazz, and Nazis instinctively distrusted any art form they could not control. The Nazis were kinda racist. NGL. One of the reasons the Nazis felt like America wasn't much of a threat to them is because they thought it was too degenerated by Jewish and Negro culture. Jazz was part of that degeneration according to them. Because it was still seen as created by blacks to them, you do realize that racism and nazism weren't exactly concerned with the nuance, right? P. It was black. Nazis are racist. Why are you assuming that the Nazis only called stuff degenerate that they had a valid reason to? They thought it was degenerate because it originated in America by black people. Looking at OP's comments, he either is a troll or just really dumb. Because it was a black American invention and it was popular af. Because they were white, hated black people, and couldn't play it.